This is the new Blackmagic Camera iPhone app and the new Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K G2, as well as the Blackmagic Studio Camera 4K Plus G2.
This is a CineD Gear News video, supported by B&H and CVP.
So there's three other cameras that we're launching at the show. The first one is one that you may have heard of already. It's the new iPhone app that we've produced in conjunction with Apple. That takes the iOS or the interface that we have on our camera.
You call that a camera? I would say it's a software.
It's called the Blackmagic Camera app. It's the camera app. Okay. Yeah. What it does, it takes the OS that we've developed for our cameras and then puts it onto an iPhone. Now, what that from a benefit point of view, it gives you a whole new level of control over the capabilities of an Apple iPhone. And I mean, Apple have really pushed the boundaries with the new iPhone 15 in their cameras, and so working with Apple in producing an app that really turns it from being just a phone-based camera into something that has professional control is a massive step forward for us, because all of a sudden now it just means that customers have become familiar with using an iPhone in the same way that they would use a Blackmagic camera. And working with those two things side by side, if you know how to use a Blackmagic camera, it gives you the same level of control over your phone, and you've then got flexibility and options depending upon what you want to do. So that's been launched. That's free. That's available to download from the App Store now.
And the cool thing is it actually ties into the cloud, right?
Absolutely. So we spoke about cloud a little bit earlier on, but the concept being that whether I'm shooting on an iPhone or whether I'm shooting on a Blackmagic camera, and it could be a Ursa Broadcast G2 or at some point in the future the new 6K Cinema Camera, that content is uploaded directly into the cloud and then forwarded on to the creative team who are using Resolve. And that content goes directly from the camera into the Resolve media pool, so it can be accessed immediately. And the great thing about that, of course, being it just speeds up entire workflows. So you can imagine working in say for example, a news environment where I've got a journalist or maybe multiple journalists working, and rather than using a large obtrusive camera, they could be very unobtrusive in shooting with an iPhone in maybe places where you couldn't take a full camera system, and that breaking news content can be sent straight back to the edit suite for delivery to air. The other nice thing about it is that you can use multiple cameras side by side simultaneously in a multicam situation. So we've added time code into the iPhone so that those two cameras are then synced. So if you've got two journalists from different angles on a shooting story, then that content goes straight back into a Resolve timeline as a multicam, and then the editor can then choose what shots he wants to cut between. There's also real-time chat between the editor or the creative team and the journalist in the field, so that if they want to change the angle or maybe reshoot something or to get a different shot, that comes up in real time on the phone as they're working. So you've got a very powerful real-time communication of content straight back into your creative department. And that same goes whether you're shooting on an Ursa Broadcast or whether you're shooting on an iPhone. It's the same infrastructure that's in place. So for us, cloud isn't about just somebody else's storage. Cloud is a mechanism. Just how do we facilitate moving content from one place to another, from acquisition through to creative, or collaborating the creative team whilst working on the same piece of media. And that's really what the iPhone empowers in its ease of use, its accessibility, and also the fact that you can now have the opportunity to use it in less obtrusive environments where otherwise you wouldn't be able to take a larger camera. I think it opens up new doors of opportunity, new ideas of thinking, and also a whole new different range of customers who can then start to learn about professional workflows. Everyone's got an iPhone. Everyone's got an iPhone. I mean, Apple sell 1 million iPhones a day, and I think the very fact that anybody creating content can now start to learn about a professional workflow is a great way for them to introduce them into the industry. So this is really part of that journey that we're starting to help people progress on.
Great, and it's available now and for free, right?
It's available for now. It's free. It's on the App Store as the app. Cloud is available now. It's also free to start off. So depending on how much storage that you want to use, it's scalable. If you need more storage, you can buy more. If you need less, you can scale it back. There's no annual subscriptions. It's done on a rolling monthly basis. So, if this month you're working on a project and you think, I'm going to need it for 3 weeks and I need 500 gigabytes of storage for my project, great, do that. And then next month, if you don't need it, turn it off, you don't pay anything. If you need more next month, then you can make it bigger. So the idea being that the cloud is there to scale up and down with a creative's needs, as opposed to you trying to work out what your maximum capacity is going to be and then have to then pay for an annual subscription based around your max capacity. This needs to adapt and grow based around the way our industry works. So it is a solution that's been designed specifically for content creators in the professional video space.
Okay, let's quickly also touch on the other two hardware cameras.
Yeah, so there's two other cameras we've launched, both on the studio side. We've relaunched a camera that we used to make actually called the Micro Studio Camera. So this is the generation 2 of that camera. Unfortunately, we had to stop building that camera last year because of parts issues. There were some challenges in trying to get the volume of parts that we needed because it was a very popular camera. And that created a lot of challenges for us because the demand for that camera was so high. So due to popular demand, we said, okay, look, we'll go back and we'll make it again, but we're going to have to redesign it with new parts. So exactly the same form factor as before. We've upgraded the sensor on that camera, so it's now got a 4K sensor with 13 stops of dynamic range and dual ISO. We've also added and changed some features. We've added in USB-C. We've added in USB-C for remote control, including REST API, so you can plug it in over Ethernet and control it over Ethernet. And there's a whole bunch of other things in there as well. So that's been launched as well. That is priced at $995 and will be available in October. And then its bigger brother camera is a new version of our studio camera. So the studio camera is the same sensor, but it has the screen on the back. The entry-level version of that was called the Plus. It's now called the Plus G2 or Generation 2. And we've added into that 12 gig SDI. So that now supports Ultra HD, 12 gig SDI, talkback, tally. And the benefit of adding, of course, the 12 gig SDI is that it just makes it easier as an entry-level camera for anybody working with an SDI-based switcher. That camera also records Blackmagic RAW to USB-C. So you can master out to USB-C as Blackmagic RAW, and then you've got your live produced content, which you can then take a resolve file from, and then re-edit if you want to recreate your live content in post. So it's a very flexible entry-level camera solution. Both of those cameras are new. That camera, off the top of my head, is $1,345. It's available now.
Thank you, Tim. That was a long interview, but we're very comprehensive about all the new camera announcements. And yeah, have a good show.
Lovely. Thank you, Neil. Thank you for coming to see us again.
Thank you too.
All right, cheers now.
Thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned for a lot more videos from IBC 2023 and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.